Paradise in Islam isn't one place either. Just like hell has 7 levels, Jannah has 8, and where you end up isn't random. The Quran and the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, describe each level in incredible detail. What it looks like, what you'll feel there, what you'll receive, and exactly what kind of person reaches each one. One level is reserved only for the closest of the close, a level so specific that the Prophet himself told his followers exactly how to ask for it by name. Let's go through all 8, from the outer gates, all the way to the very top. According to the Quran and authentic hadith, Jannah has 8 named levels, and unlike hell, movement here only goes one direction, up. The higher the level, the closer you are to Allah, the greater the reward, and the more specific the quality required to reach it. Every level mentioned in this video comes directly from the Quran or from hadith collections like Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim, not from later folklore or speculation. Let's start from the outer gates and climb all the way to the top. The first level is as-Salam, the home of peace. This name is mentioned directly in the Quran as the greeting believers receive as they enter paradise. Peace, safety, and the complete absence of fear, sadness, or conflict. Everyone who enters any level of Jannah passes through this state first. Every argument, every grudge, every old wound between people is completely removed the moment they arrive. Described in the Quran as anything resembling resentment being pulled out from their hearts entirely. It's described as the foundation that every other level is built on. Total peace, with nothing left to fear ever again, and nothing left to grieve over from the life that came before it. The second level is al-Khuld, the home of eternity. Its name comes directly from the idea of permanence. Unlike anything in this life, nothing here ends, decays, or runs out, no matter how long time continues to pass. The Quran repeatedly contrasts the temporary nature of worldly pleasure with the permanence of this level. Wealth here doesn't shrink, health here never fades, relationships here never break, and the pleasure of one moment doesn't fade into boredom the way it always eventually does in this life. This level is often described as the reward for those who remained patient and consistent in their worship, even when life gave them every excuse to stop, slow down, or quietly give up. The third level is Jannat al Adn, the Garden of Refuge. The Quran mentions this specifically in Surah An-Najm as the garden near a tree called Sidrat al-Muntaha, the lote tree at the farthest boundary, a real location described as marking the edge of what any created being can know or perceive beyond, a boundary that not even the angels are permitted to cross. This level is often described as the resting place for those who feared standing before Allah and, because of that fear, restrained themselves from following every desire during their life, even when no one else was watching and nothing stopped them from giving in. The fourth level is Jannat al Adn, the Garden of Delight. This name appears repeatedly throughout the Quran, more than any other single garden name, always tied to descriptions of comfort. Flowing rivers of water, milk, honey, and wine that doesn't intoxicate, soft couches arranged facing one another, fruit within arm's reach at all times, and companionship completely free of any tension, jealousy, or awkwardness. Clothing here is described as silk and fine brocade, and even ordinary conversation between people is described as free of any harsh or idle speech. Nothing said there ever causes harm or regret afterward. This level is generally described as the reward promised to those who believed and did good consistently, not perfectly, but consistently, returning to worship and good deeds again and again throughout their entire lives. The fifth level is al-Qarar, the home of permanent settlement. Its name is drawn from a verse in Surah Ghafir, where paradise is directly contrasted with the temporary, unstable nature of worldly life, described there as nothing more than a passing bit of enjoyment. This level is described as belonging to those who settled their hearts on the next life instead of chasing endless, restless ambition in this one. People who found genuine contentment with what they had instead of constantly needing more status, more money, or more approval from others. The sixth level is Jannat al Adn, the Garden of Eden, mentioned by name in the Quran more than 10 separate times, more than any other named garden. This is often described by scholars as the very center of paradise, surrounded by the other gardens on every side, like the middle of a city surrounded by its outer districts. It's associated with those who were truthful in every part of their lives, in their speech, in their business dealings, in their private thoughts, even when lying would have clearly benefited them, and no one would have ever found out. The seventh level is Illiyyin, mentioned in Surah al-Mutaffifin as an elevated register, a place where the deeds of the truly righteous are recorded and personally witnessed by those brought near to Allah. This level is closely associated with the prophets, the truthful, the martyrs, and the righteous who lived their entire lives in complete sincerity, not performing faith for others to see on the outside, but living it privately and consistently, behaving the same way in public as they did when they believed no one was watching at all. And finally, the eighth and highest level of all, al-Firdaus, Firdaus, the highest garden in all of paradise. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, described this specific level directly in an authentic hadith, saying that its ceiling is the throne of Allah itself, and that when believers ask Allah for paradise, they should ask specifically for Firdaus by name, because it is the highest and best of them all, and rivers of paradise flow out from beneath it. This level is reserved for those who reach the deepest level of sincerity in their faith, humility in prayer, complete trust in Allah during hardship and loss, and a life spent avoiding what was forbidden, not out of fear of being caught by other people, but out of genuine love and constant awareness of Allah. 8 levels, each one higher, each one closer, each one built on a different quality: peace, patience, restraint, consistency, contentment, honesty, sincerity, and finally, love. It's worth pausing here for a moment because these 8 qualities aren't abstract ideals reserved for scholars or saints. They're things every single person reading this could start practicing today in small, ordinary ways. Choosing patience in a hard moment, staying honest when a lie would be easier, showing up to worship consistently even when motivation runs out. If the last video about Jahannam felt heavy, this is meant to feel like the other half of that same reminder, because the unseen world isn't only described in this much detail to warn you. It's described to show you exactly what's waiting on the other side, in full detail, if you choose to walk toward it. Starting today, one small habit at a time. Subscribe, because next, we're going into the world of jinn and what the Quran actually says about them beyond the stories most people have already heard.